It's time for another Foxhole update. I just got done watching the dev stream and I'll be covering everything new that's coming to Foxhole with update 57. That includes some juicy tidbits in the dev branch release notes. And at the very end, I'll share my impression of the updates to come. Are they a welcome change to the game, or is it going to suck massive taint? Let's find out. We're going to go over all the new changes and additions in order, starting off with some changes to inventory management. With update 57, we'll finally have access to custom stack splitting. Yes, gone are the days where you had to split stacks in half over and over again. Now you can finally set a specific amount of resources or items you want to split from its original stack. In addition to the custom stack splitting, we're also getting a new button at the top right of our inventory screens, which will sort everything in the inventory automatically. Nothing else to cover, just some nice quality of life changes here. We have another quality of life update, intermediate resource storage. You can now store resources like gravel, E-mats, and HE-mats in resource containers. Next is a change to the sniper rifles. If you saw my infantry weapon tier list video, which you should definitely go watch, I'm sure you'll agree with all of my takes, I ranked the sniper rifles really fucking low on the tier list, namely because of how shit their damage is and how long it takes to stabilize after each shot. It looks like the devs have fixed both of these problems, increasing the stability gain rate, but also lowering the rate significantly when in cover. There's also been an increase to the maximum possible instability and damage. I'm gonna leave it there for now, but we'll talk more about this at the end of the video. We also had a number of small changes added in the update, which is listed on screen here. Devs, for the love of God, please move that Foxhole Naval image at the bottom right. It makes me want to punch my monitor. I don't even know what this says. I'm not even gonna read what it says. You gotta move it. You gotta do something about that. Moving along, we have the addition of facility husks. Now when a partisan comes to destroy your facility, each building will be turned into a husk before being completely destroyed. Partisans will need to destroy these husks if they want to fully destroy the contents in that facility. Now, we did have some clarifying answers related to facility husks from the dev Q&A on the Foxhole subreddit. The devs confirmed that each husk will have similar health to a bunker husk, and if a vehicle upgrade pad is destroyed with a vehicle on it, that vehicle will still be destroyed if the pad is turned into a husk. If you guys are interested in some more information from the devs that wasn't covered in the dev stream or from any of the other Foxhole content creators, I'm leaving a link to the dev Q&A in the description below. Next, we got to see some tweaks to the UX and UI of the game, starting off with the new player UX. New players will get a new intro screen that orients them to Foxhole's unique gameplay philosophy. Also, there are some more training areas that have been added to the home region for players to poke around in, and in terms of UI, the options menu has gotten a makeover as well. This is going to lead us to the first major change for update 57. Weather.
Everyone in McKinney is dead. The heat index right now in McKinney is 10,000. What is that? 101,105. It's hot in McKinney.
The devs have made a bunch of changes to the weather mechanics, including snowstorms that freeze lakes and rivers, ice that can take damage as well as break, and more common severe storms for both snow and rain. In terms of rainstorms, players will no longer immediately get muddy as soon as they get their grubby little feet outside of their bunker bases. Random puddles will form on the ground and cause players to become muddy if stepped in. Puddles can also form in artillery craters and trenches. These puddles can also be removed with a shovel or water bucket. Concrete is getting a bit of a nerf due to rainstorms. Now the settle times for concrete will increase relative to the intensity of the storm in the hex. The devs have also added a new tripod deployable, the windsock. The goal is to make wind readings easier and more reliable for artillery teams. With the weather changes, we're also getting a change to the campfire in the form of the field range. This is a T2 upgrade from the campfire that can't be broken if run over with a vehicle. I'm seeing a lot of good partisan potential with this one, but stay tuned for that. In addition to the field range, bunker hearths will be added as a staple for any winter front in the game. The bunker hearth heats all adjacent bunker pieces, allowing for many more players to stay warm when hunkered down in their bases. And lastly, we have the addition of the weather station. This is a foundation upgrade on a 3x3 concrete structure. It may also require an observation bunker as well, but that hasn't been confirmed yet. That's it for weather. Now we move on to the last change for the update, naval changes. The first naval change is the redesign of the Iron Ship. It will now allow for walkable decks, a redesigned chassis to better conform to the addition of the newer ships added to the game, and a spotter seat as well as an extra passenger seat. We're also getting another new large ship, the Bowhead. This vessel is aimed to be a resource ship capable of carrying 64,000 resources. It features 2 resource stockpiles, a loading area, spotter seat, and AI defense turret. Aside from the dev stream, we got some additional changes mentioned in the dev branch release notes. I'm not going to cover every change, but some notable ones to mention are gravel assembly time reduced and crate size increased, EMATs and HEMATs are getting their conversion ratios reduced and conversion times reduced as well. All EMAT costs have been doubled and all HEMAT costs have been quadrupled. The Ares no longer will have a second gunner. Both engineers will now load the primary gun. The top speed has been increased. ASMAT 5 cost has been reduced to 105, and the Ares will now cost 3 rare alloys. Yippee. There's also been a change to the radio backpack. They now have an increased intelligence gathered radius of 60 meters and have a reduced weight of 20%. There's plenty more changes listed, but I've gone ahead and included the dev branch release notes down in the description as well. That's everything Update 57 has to offer, but what are my thoughts on the update? I'm going to give you guys my off-the-cuff reaction to each change, starting off with the initial quality of life updates. For the custom stack splitting and inventory auto features, I think these are great. This is, I mean, any and all quality of life features in my opinion are fantastic additions to the game. I think adding storage for gravel, EMATs, and HEMATs with the resource containers is also a great addition with this update. I can't tell you the number of times when I first got into Foxhole and I tried transporting EMATs with the resource container or HEMATs and it just never worked. This is gonna be great, and I think it just makes a lot of sense that all these resources would be able to get transferred through the resource container. Sniper rifle changes, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about. They said that it's going to revert back to the previous sniper in terms of damage, but some of the crazy OP elements that the original sniper had won't be present in this change. So I guess it's definitely in the step in the right direction. And I think they're doing great work trying to make the sniper a more viable gun in the game. But we'll just have to wait and see how good it is. Initial takeaway though, love the fact that they are taking a look at it and trying to make it better. We'll just have to wait and see how that ends up performing on the battlefield. The other small changes screen, I think of all of these, maybe the new map post types is good for like easier to read map posts, but I'll be honest, I don't really care too much about all of these. Now with facility husks, I don't know, man, I'm kind of torn on this, I'm not gonna lie, and here's why I'm a little torn on this. There's a couple of different things that I have concerns with. The first one is obviously this is a huge nerf to partisans. I don't think it's a nerf in the sense that most of the time partisans are trying to destroy vehicle pads and the vehicles on them, and that those vehicles like the Ares, the super tanks, whatever it might be, right, they're all going to get destroyed no matter what. So that's good. I guess if you were trying to, full wipe a facility, that's where, you're kind of fucked. In my second example, and this is where I have the most concern, I remember this was wars ago when we were fighting off of Hamburger Hill. This was in Farragut Coast. Somebody had created a frontline MSUP facility, right? And these buildings were pretty much decayed, and we needed to destroy them because the Warrens were using it as cover so that they could cut our logi. This was a huge pain in the ass at the time because we couldn't just, foundation wipe or anything like that. We had to use 30 mil to destroy the facilities themselves in order to free up that space and not have it used against us. Now with the addition of husks, we have to spend even more ammo to destroy this. I get the mentality and the vision the devs have of it's going to create a more unique, dynamic like battlefield as things get destroyed. But fucking hell, dude, they got to do something with the husks at least. Like if you want to add husks, that's fine. But the same health as bunkers, I don't know, man. Like it's maybe got to be half that, if anything. We'll see how it shapes up. I'm not super enthusiastic about facility husks. Let me know in the comments. Did you guys ask for facility husks? I personally, this came out of nowhere for me. No idea why it was added, but hey, we'll just see how it goes, you guys. We'll see how it goes. UX and UI changes, great for new players. I think that's awesome. Additional training areas, sure, that's all good. Overall, UX UI, positive, great stuff. Weather changes. Now, I'm not gonna lie, guys, when I first saw the puddles and the weather changes, I was like, fuck me, why did they make rain worse, right? Like, we already get so fucking muddy, dude. But then when I heard that you're only gonna get muddy if you step into puddles, I was like, fantastic, that's great. Because the puddles are dynamic, I'm hoping that that's something that the devs can tweak. If it becomes too much, we'll see. I mean, I don't think it could be too little. Let's just put it out there, right? Like if there's scarce amounts of puddles, I'm okay with that. But overall, right, I think the snow changes are great. Frozen lakes and rivers, that's awesome. I love the idea with creating a more unique and dynamic bridge battle situation, or just, opening up the map or the hexes to new avenues of attack and defense. So definitely think that's great. I think that's really cool. I think it's no surprise that most of the Foxhole community likes the snowstorm stuff versus rainstorm. But yeah, we'll end up seeing how the rain goes in the next war. Other than that, all the new changes like the weather station, the range, the sock. I mean, I'm happy with all this. Honestly, the sock's a pretty cool idea. It'll be easier to read the wind, which can be kind of difficult when you're trying to find any sort of AI structure that has a flag on it. So definitely all good things. Again, I would say cautiously optimistic about the rain stuff. Overall weather changes, pretty net neutral on. Like it's good stuff. It's just nothing I'm super like, fuck yeah, we needed this in Foxhole. We're just gonna have to wait and see how it plays off in the next war. Naval changes and the additions. So let's go with the Iron Ship first. Iron Ship, I think that's cool that they allow us to walk on the ship itself now. That's gonna be unique for definitely naval fighting, and also, I mean, people were saying it in the chat, right? Like ATR rush, like that's gonna happen. And then we have another large ship. Guys, you already know my stance on large ships. You already know my stance on rare alloys. Ultimately, we don't know the cost right now for the bowhead, however you want to call it, the bowhead. But if it is a large ship, I'm assuming it's going to cost some form of rare alloy to make. Only time will tell. Personally, I understand like this is going to be something that is going to be utilized in future updates down the line. So right now it may not have a use, but who knows, maybe in the next major update, which I bet is going to happen September 7th. Don't ask me why. I just have a very strong feeling it might be September 7th, you guys. You heard it here first. Gremblo saying next major update, September 7th. But anyway, I will not be using this ship. I don't think it's really meant for smaller mid-sized regiments, unless if you're like purely focused on Logi. I think WLL and all those other Logi focused regiments will probably get a lot of use out of it. But I hope you guys have fun scooping with a giant ship. And that's pretty much it, you guys. I'm not going to go over all the other, smaller things that were mentioned in the dev branch release notes. Overall, what do I think about this update, guys? With everything that I've talked about, what's my immediate takeaway? And I'm going to say this, guys. I've said this to the Gremlins. I've said this to other players in game. My overall take with every single update, I've had this opinion since 1.0. I'm always going to be cautiously optimistic with every update, because far too many times when an update would come out, something is either broken, miscalculated. When it's integrated into the game, it has unintended consequences, and the war ends up kind of losing its feel. So overall, at this point, I think there's a lot of good quality of life updates. That's the stuff I'm the most excited for, you guys. Sniper updates too, that's great. I'm going to be very cautiously optimistic about the weather stuff. I hope everything goes well. I hope everything is tested great. All you players in dev branch helping out the devs, giving feedback, fantastic. That's good stuff. But to end on a serious note, I'm looking forward to playing the next war. Looking forward to seeing what these changes have in store for gameplay. And hopefully everything goes well. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like, comment your favorite part of Update 57. Was it the sniper changes? Was it the changes to naval stuff? Was it just the weather? Make sure you let me know what you like. And for those of you that haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Finger got stuck in his booty, I might lose a pinky like I offended the Yakuza. If you got a girl, you a loser, just playing around. I'm piping all night, then I ride from behind on his meat from the morning to midnight. If you a man, then it's access graded, but for what is the dex is terminal, like you're known as a man, give it sloppy. I take off his tie like convertible. My man and my car both got a wide body, yo, fact you a copy. You look up to me like we bout to